President Trump's decision to pardon most of the people who stormed the Capitol 4 years ago included more than half a dozen people from the Gulf Coast. That includes a Mobile woman and a couple from Loxley. Now, they had been convicted of federal charges. Fox 10's Brendan Kirby joining us now. And Brendan, you spoke with one of those protesters.
Yeah, I did, Cameron, and he says that it was something that he was hoping for when President Trump floated the idea on the campaign trail, but he says that it wasn't something he was counting on. The Justice Department spent years tracking down and convicting some 1,500 people who pushed their way into the Capitol building on January 6, 2021, to try to stop congressional certification of Joe Biden's election victory. Now, from a legal standpoint, it's like it never happened for most of them. One of President Donald Trump's first acts after taking office this week was to issue a blanket pardon that covered nearly everyone convicted.
I am greatly pleased. I think it's about time. I got treated like a felon through the whole thing. It was just misdemeanor charges, so I am pleased with the outcome of it.
That's Loxley resident Dylan Bowling. He and his wife, Marissa Bowling, pleaded guilty to misdemeanor offenses. Dylan Bowling already has served the 30 days house arrest that he was sentenced to, but neither he nor his wife will have to continue checking in with a probation officer as a result of the presidential pardon.
It was ridiculous to deal with, and it's all over with. I've been given a full pardon.
Todd Millett, Bowling's lawyer, says the pardon means that his client also doesn't owe any fines or court costs and that any money that's already been paid should be refunded.
They assaulted nobody, they spoke to nobody, they broke nothing.
Jeff Dean, an attorney who represented Marissa Bowling, says his client is an apolitical, salt-of-the-earth woman who got caught up in President Trump's rhetoric.
He is a charismatic leader, and he strikes at emotional chords with a lot of people about things they want to hear. And they follow him, and they went up there and listened to him, and then they went over to see what was going on at the Capitol. I think it could happen to anybody.
Dylan Bowling tells me he believes the January 6th demonstrators were treated differently from other protesters who have stepped over the line. I asked him if it was worth it.
But would I do it again? I don't know. The answer is I don't regret it.
Carrie Kelly, an insurance adjuster from Mobile County who was sentenced to 30 days in prison, also benefited from a Trump pardon. Now, there are also 5 Florida Panhandle residents who are benefiting from the presidential pardons: Tristan Stevens and Jesus J.D. Rivera of Pensacola. Rivera originally was sentenced to 8 months in prison and 12 months of supervised release. Stevens, who was convicted of assaulting an officer, was sentenced to 5 years. Other Panhandle pardon recipients are Andrew Griswold of Niceville, Timothy O'Malley of Fort Walton Beach, and Richard Asclarera of Destin. Reporting live in the News Center, Brendan Kirby, Fox 10 News.